Hello, it's Christy Gray, your newest hype girl and astrologer. Welcome to the Cosmic Hotline.
Hi, gorgeous, and welcome to this week's episode of the Cosmic Hotline. When the sun moves into the constellation of Virgo, I get excited for the change of pace and energy, and not just because I'm a Virgo sun. Leo season invites us to stand in the spotlight and use our voice to get what we want. And then Virgo walks in and goes, look, I love how confident you are, Leo, but why not channel that energy into giving back to yourself and others? The zodiac sign Virgo represents hope and regeneration, and she's also known as the star goddess in Greek mythology. This sign strives for purity of health and rules the abdomen, small intestines, solar plexus, and also the nerves. Now, with the solar plexus chakra in mind, here's a quick way to check in and observe if yours is in balance. If you exude confidence without being arrogant, feel self-motivated, and have a sense of purpose, then you, my celestial friend, are balanced. If you're suffering from low self-esteem, have trouble making decisions, or have control issues in any area of your life, then you may need a little chakra TLC. Here's a quick tip. If this is the case, I recommend the solfeggio frequency 528 Hz. Play it while you're getting ready in the morning or have it as a background noise if a traditional form of meditation isn't your vibe. Now, my cerebral ear sign babes out there, you know what I'm talking about. But let's dive back to Virgo. If you've been wanting to initiate a new health regime, try out a new exercise class, or level up your morning routine by setting your alarm 15 minutes earlier, then this is your time to do just that. If there's one thing I'd love you to take away from today's episode and everything that Virgo season represents, it's this. Raise your standards. How can you turn your shoulds into musts, say no to distractions, and know what you stand for? Now let's get down to the details. We've got a Virgo new moon to unpack today, plus some of the transits that you need to know about, and I'm also answering a listener question. The annual new moon in Virgo this year falls on my birthday, so you could say I'm feeling extra celestial. Other than the moon forming a tricky aspect to the planet Mars, we're getting off pretty lightly compared to that past full moon in Aquarius. With both luminaries, being the sun and moon, residing in the sixth house, which is also ruled by Virgo, you're bound to be feeling extra productive. If you feel inspired to buy a new planner, clean out your cupboards, or get to work, then the cosmos definitely has something to do with it. As you already know, new moons are your opportunity to manifest and set your intentions. So this is your opportunity to do just that. Now, before I mention that planet Mars, and Mars is associated with action, desire, it's our masculine energy. Wherever it is in your natal chart, it will showcase where output comes from, how are you motivated, and where your energy goes. Mars moved into the zodiac sign of Gemini on August 20th, and it actually stays in Gemini until March of 2023. So even though you may be feeling productive at this particular lunar cycle, it's going to be really important that you try not to juggle too many things all at once. Babes, this is kind of a big deal because Mars is going to retrograde soon. It does this approximately every 2 years, which is why it's staying in the sign of Gemini for so long. But we'll unpack everything you need to know in a future episode. All you need to know for now is don't bite off more than you can chew. A little self-control will go a long way at this lunar cycle. Go for a walk in the morning, schedule in some self-care, and create space to just luxuriate in this energy. Virgo, like Gemini, is ruled by the planet Mercury, and we're already under Mercury's shadow before it hits retrograde on the 10th of September. My Gemini, Virgo, and Libra babes, you're definitely going to be feeling this the most. So take some extra care and don't put too much pressure on yourself. The only caveat is if you're born during Mercury retrograde, you'll finally feel like the world is catching up to you. So know that you've totally got this. Have you ever wondered why some stages of your life are in the spotlight and at other times you're left working behind the scenes? There's a season for every area of your life when you're working with the stars. I've just launched the Progressed Charts Masterclass, which will equip you with the insight on how to embody the right energy at the right time and actualize it. By understanding the astrological season you're in and using your progressed chart, more specifically your progressed moon, is the key to unlocking momentum and alignment in conjunction with your natal chart. Plus, it's the first thing I look towards when I cast a client's natal chart, so I can instantly understand how they feel about the astrological cycle that they're in. In this live 90-minute masterclass, you'll receive a workbook which you'll be able to reference over and over again. Plus, you don't need any prior knowledge to attend, and pay what you want because I'm leaving this one up to you. You'll find everything you need to know linked in the show notes below. Okay, let's dive into this week's listener question.
My birthday this year is apparently going to be a strawberry moon. Does that mean anything special for me or anything I need to be aware of?
This question comes from Erin. She's a Gemini sun, Cancer moon, and Taurus ascendant, born on the 14th of June. Even though we're only diving into this question now, I'd love to unpack the significance of solar returns, which is also known as your birthday in astrology. The strawberry moon on the 14th of June was also known as a supermoon. We've had a series of supermoons this year, and they are super because based on the moon's orbit, they're actually at the nearest point closest to Earth. This essentially makes them bigger and brighter. According to the Farmer's Almanac, the name was given because June marks the beginning of summer in North America when strawberries begin to bloom. Because the moon is closest to Earth, the energy's going to be more potent. So depending on what it's going to activate in your natal chart is going to determine how that energy is manifested. In regards to your natal chart, Erin, the moon was in Sagittarius at this strawberry supermoon, and the moon was in conjunction with Neptune in your natal chart. Why this is so significant is not only is Neptune the planet of dreams, inspiration, and how we manifest, it's also situated in your 8th house, but it's at the top of your kite. A kite is an aspect in astrology that's quite significant. So this particular lunar cycle was a turning point. It was an opportunity for you to focus on your dreams, but to also let go of any people-pleasing tendencies, and an opportunity to reclaim a new level of self-worth. The biggest tip I can give you is knowing the astrological cycle that you're in. Try to avoid burning out. The next 20 months have a big spotlight on your career. And as much as it's your time to shine, you don't want to make sure that you're burning the candle at both ends. If you've been focusing on your mental health or you still feel pulled to focus on it over the next 2 months, definitely prioritize it if you need to. But I also have some exciting news on the horizon. If you have an inkling to learn something new, study or travel, and this energy is probably going to start to manifest for you from October, and you're going to be feeling it for the next 24 months, I want you to take note of those intuitive hunches and maybe where they might lead you. As I'm sure you've heard me say many times over, astrology isn't a belief system. It's a language to understand ourselves, the people in our lives, and the world around us. It helps us to make sense of things. And there's so many different charts that you can take a look at to help you to gain a deeper understanding of your life right now, but also where you've been and where you're going. There's so many different charts an astrologer can cast, and these are essentially my go-tos. Your natal chart is your map of potential. It's who you are and who you came here to be. This is the chart I come back to time and time again. But there's nothing quite like glimpsing your birthday stars. Think of your solar return chart as a snapshot of the sky at the exact time of your birthday, depending on the world that you are when you celebrate. My go-to chart for always opening up a conversation with a client normally revolves around a progress chart. That's the chart I mentioned in the middle of this episode. And of course, there's the planets and where they are right now. This is known as the current transits. There's so many different moving parts, and there's always another layer to unlock. But as complex as it may seem, the messages are normally really simple. What's our default setting, and how do we rise above it? And when we know that, and we work with the current astrological energy, we start to understand that there's always a beginning, a middle, and an end to things. So in my opinion, your solar return chart, it's pretty special. And I'm totally biased this year because I felt completely ripped off in 2021. This year, it's pretty great. Actually, if I'm being really honest with you, it's more than great. It's so good that it almost terrifies me, because a lot of the things that I've been manifesting for such a long time now feel like they're about to become a tangible reality. But as I always say, if you've been in session with me, if you're anticipating a transit, you're not participating in your life, meaning it's up to me what I do and how I'm going to make the most of these activations. And guess what, babes? I am going to go full throttle and absolutely make the most of it. I'll be back next week with a live session, and this is such an interesting question. Next week's guest, Emily, has been recently diagnosed with ADHD, and we're going to view this through the lens of her natal chart. Have a wonderful week and happy new moon in Virgo, babes, and I'll see you next week.